All righty, folks. Welcome to the ETBU Coaches Show here at Bear Creek Smokehouse, everyone's favorite smokehouse. A little bit inclement weather out here, but we are still here for week number 4.
Liquid sunshine.
Yes, sir. Liquid sunshine. I like that. I've never heard that before. I might start using that. But as you guys see, I am here, Mark T. Robinson, on the ETBU Plus Network with head football coach Kelvin Ruzicka. Coach, it was another successful week as far as the win-loss column. You guys moved to 3-0. But as a coach, still a couple of things to tweak. But first of all, let's kind of start with your guys' battle with Centenary, with the Gents. What's your evaluation of how your team handled their first game on the road?
Well, we're excited and fortunate to come back from a road trip with a victory. It was our first road game of the season, and so there was always some kinks that needs to be worked out, but it was good to get a win. Played a quality opponent. I think that each week, and we'll talk later about upcoming week against Texas Lutheran, but each week the opponent, I felt, in non-conference has gotten better and better and tested us in different ways, and we certainly were tested this past Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the fact that it was a very high-scoring game, and that the fact that you guys were able to just kind of overcome their offensive pressure, what do you attribute to the success of you guys offensively? They scored 33, but you got 50 points. Right. So what was working for you guys?
Well, I think the first thing you look at is we made some strides in the passing game, and Shy's getting better each week, seeing different defenses and getting more comfortable in what we're doing offensively. I believe he was 20 for 28. So that's a really productive night from the quarterback room right there. But our run game still is the strength of our offense behind that offensive line, and then with Jordan and Paul Woodard carrying the ball, and as well as Jamarcus Shockley and also Bryson Lanier. So the run game travels. No matter where you're at, home, away, whatever, the run game definitely travels, and it did last week for us as well.
Absolutely. So you guys talked about just coming in that you were going to have to adjust to a different level of play, that is from the opponents. Yeah. You saw some things that you weren't able to that you weren't seeing in the first 2 weeks.
Right.
So talk to me just a little bit about how you feel that you guys. What was the biggest adjustment in that game?
Sure. Yeah.
From that perspective,
I think first defensively, Coach Dawson, their head coach, is a really good football coach, and he's a great defensive mind. And he had his team playing really well, blitzing us at different times and putting pressure on us that we hadn't seen from the first 2 games that we faced. So it was good to get that on film, and now we can coach off of that and make our players better in that regard, picking up blitzes. His defense was flying to the ball. They created 3 turnovers on defense, and so kudos to them. They got coached up really well from Coach Dawson last week, and their defense played really well. We were able to overcome some of those things, like I mentioned earlier, with the passing game and the run game as well, but it was a different style of defense compared to the previous week against OPSU and Lyon. Defensively for us, we're trying to defend, like we said last week, the godfather, the grandfather, the inventor of the air raid, and it was really cool at the end of the game when I got to meet Coach Mummy, especially after we got the dub. So that was a little better to shake his hand from that. But
right.
He's such a phenomenal coach. He's probably forgotten more football than I'll ever know. He was able to capitalize on some things with his offense that he felt like we were deficient in defensively. So there again, we get back, we grade the film, we watch it, we see where we're making some mistakes. We're able to convey that to our players, and we go out yesterday, first day of practice this week, and start to make some of those changes and adjustments and corrections.
Absolutely. And so as a coach, you're looking at it, a couple questions on that. So number one, you look at it, you say, we got 50 points.
Yeah.
So our offense, everything looked good. We did give up 33, but are you looking at it from the standpoint of, man, we outlasted a high-scoring team? Or are you looking at it from the standpoint of like, man, we got a lot of holes to plug up and a lot of film to look at to make some adjustments for the upcoming week?
Honestly, both.
Okay.
They are explosive on offense. In the air raid offense, and they're new in it this year because that's Coach Mummy, I think, joined that staff in July. So this is really the first go around for his team to be in that system, and they're getting better at it each week. Their quarterback play was better than what we had seen on film. Their receivers did a really good job as well. And so, yeah, I mean, that they're getting better, number one. We were exposed in some areas that we've got to get better at, and that's what we're focusing on right now in pass defense. And so that's one thing right there. But then I think it just goes back to, again, that they were coached up well, played well at home, don't like giving up 33 points at all, and we had 33 missed tackles. So how do those two correlate? I think if we'd have cleaned up that, if maybe we only gave up half as many missed tackles, it's never going to be 0. But 33 is far too many. Mm-hmm. So if we can cut that in half, maybe it's a different score on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. And so as a coach, and you're looking at that, is that attributed to the fact that, man, there's just so many passes going through the air that it kind of adjusts your defense to where you're trying to fly, whereas you're trying to fly to the ball, it's being spread out all over. Was that kind of part of the deal that you guys kind of had to overcome?
It was the first time we'd seen an air raid style offense, especially being coached by Coach Mummy. But first time we'd faced something like that, and so hard to replicate what we're going to see using our scout team in practice. It doesn't matter, how good our scout team is, which they're excellent players in their own right, but they're not going to be able to duplicate what we're fixing to see on Saturday when it comes to the air raid. And so you get into the game, and all of a sudden things aren't where they were in practice,
right?
So to speak.
Right, absolutely. And so facing an opponent like that and seeing that type of offense for the first time, how does that prepare you for coming down the road? You're facing the ASC opponents, the Hardin-Simmons, the UMHBs. How does that kind of prepare you to face those kind of the teams coming later in the year?
It's not going to be our first rodeo. It's not going to be the first time our secondary has seen offensive and passing offenses like what we're fixing to grab a hold of. And so this was a good preparation. Is disappointed in the way we performed defensively, but again, a learning opportunity. And so get better by watching the film, get better in making the corrections. And now as we get it ready to face TLU and then next week start getting ready for conference play, I think our secondary and our linebackers will be better prepared for that.
Yeah, and it'll be exciting to watch for sure. But speaking of exciting to watch, you have some guys on your squad, we've talked about it before, that are just continuing to make waves this season. Paul Woodard, third straight game, he's over 100 yards rushing, and then
15 carries.
and on 15 carries. And then Don Williams, obviously, doing what he's done, 7 total tackles, 3 sacks, 2 solos.
He missed 2, and I reminded him of that.
Yeah, and that just tells you how good of a season that he's having. So what are you guys telling these guys before each game, or is it just the fact that they are just so motivated to go out there to perform and make sure they do it their part for their team to get the win?
Motivated to perform. That just kind of summarizes the offensive line and our running back room. And you've had an opportunity to meet with both of those and see their personality and kind of pick their brain about what they think about this season. And they're getting better. The offensive line is getting better each week, and the running back room is continuing to be productive. I mean, I forgot what he had, 158 yards on 15 carries. Man, I mean, he's really strong. Paul, that is, really strong runner in between the tackles, but he's got some speed when he breaks outside, and he can run away from defenders. And we got to see that last Saturday. Same with his cousin Jordan. Jordan takes one from about 18 yards out, splits the defense in half, and runs through like God just parted the Red Sea. So I mean, it was again great job blocking up front by the offensive line, and then Jordan just being really special when the ball in his hands. Jamarcus Shockley scores his first touchdown as a freshman running back, and it was about a 25-yard run. So excited for him, and he's extremely athletic and adds another dimension to that room because of the speed that I mentioned. So, yeah. And then Dom, the defensive line, Coach Jenkins did a great job, again, rotating guys in the game, getting fresh legs, fresh bodies on that defensive line to put pressure on the quarterback from Centenary. Came away with, like you said, Dom's sacks. I think he had 3 now, and then coupled with what he had done the week before against OPSU, he's ranked in the top 10 in the nation at sacks. So really, really proud of him and the effort of all the D linemen and how they've been productive this year.
Absolutely. And so lastly, as we kind of move forward a little bit, you guys will be facing a TLU Bulldogs team in Seguin. Yeah. So you're on the road again. Right. So you'll be facing a team that off to a little bit of a rocky start. 1-2, but they got a barn burner. They won that against Southwestern last week, so coming in with a little bit of confidence. In the overall matchup, you guys have kind of gone back and forth. It's a very close matchup historically when you match up against the Bulldogs. So coming in, what is something that you're seeing that you're going to have to be mindful of against this particular team?
They're well coached and they don't make mistakes. Coach LaHue has been there for a long time and has a staff that's been with him for a long time, so that consistency and continuity is still there. I expect them to play hard at home. They're a tough team that's going to play for a full 4 quarters, which we're going to have to match that. Getting to play them at their place, they're going to be excited. They'll have some extra juice with their fans there. It's always a dogfight anytime we face the Bulldogs. They're a physical team, and no, like you said, it's going to be a good test for us. You can't look at their record. I mean, 1-2.
Right.
Like that's not a 1-2 team. They're extremely talented on both sides of the ball. Their defense, I've known their defensive coordinator for the last 10 years. Coach Gresh, he does a phenomenal job, and they're really aggressive and they tackle really well. And they'll put pressure on you and they'll disguise coverages, and so it's going to be a test for our offense. And so it's going to be a good battle. Looking forward. Again, each week we're facing a different opponent that's got little nuances that maybe we didn't see the week before, which is great for us because it gives us just another opportunity to get better and work on things that we need to improve upon.
Absolutely. And so lastly for you here, we talked about, you said that there's going to be teams each week that have different little nuances that you guys have to adjust to. This week you're facing a guy in Weston Guzman on their side, a running back who can not only get yards on the ground, he can get them in the air. He had 119 against Howard Payne in the air. How do you guys adjust tactically for that?
Our eyes have got it goes back to fundamentals and discipline, and I think that's what we weren't seeing last Saturday night. Missed tackles, fundamentals. Open receivers, lack of eye discipline. So we've got to be really sharp this week in those 2 areas, focusing on getting better in those areas in practice this week. Yesterday was good. Today's got to be better than yesterday was. And then tomorrow's going to be better than today is, so that when we get down to Seguin, we're going to be locked in and ready to go.
Absolutely. And so, like you said, you guys will be traveling on the road in Seguin to take on the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs. We will be right back. We're going to switch gears a little bit, and we are going to be speaking with head women's soccer coach Joey Petrich coming up, folks. So this is the ETBU Plus Network.
Coming off another victory last night.
Coming off another victory. Yes, sir. Another shutout. We'll be back in just a moment. This is the ETBU Plus Network. Don't go anywhere.
Boy, Hunter, that beef looks good. Don't they know we've been smoking for over 75 years? And we serve barbecue every Saturday.
I reckon they ain't thought about that till now.
He ain't quite ready yet. Y'all come back here. You're next.
At High Horse, we've got a little something for everyone.
Great food served with a heaping helping of our hospitality.
High Horse 1898.
In the heart of downtown Marshall.
All righty, folks, and we are back here on the ETBU Coaches Show, and we've switched gears to the other football. We've got soccer, head women's soccer coach Joey Petrich. Coach, you guys are off to a fantastic start. You're 4-1-3 now, 4-0 in the last two matchups. First of all, before we get into any of the logistics of the show, how do you feel being here today here at Bear Creek Smokehouse?
It's good. Adam and I were just talking about it's the first time my wife and I have been trying to go on a date night here, and the timing is just not lined up. So it's really cool to be out here now for the first time.
Absolutely, and so best smokehouse in the business for sure right now. But talking about your team, you guys have had shutouts now in your last, I want to say 4 contests now going, and you've had 4 goals scored, 4-0 in the last 2 matchups. What's attributing to y'all's success right now?
It's actually, I think, 6 in a row right now.
Okay.
So we haven't, since we came back from California, we haven't given up a goal. I think the team has just embraced the identity of, like, our goal is the most important goal. Defense, it's a age-old tradition of, like, defense wins championships, and they've really embraced that. They've just started rolling with it. We have an amazing, back line of and a young back line still, like 6 straight shutouts with 2 freshmen and a sophomore playing in a back 3. So it's been really fun to watch them embrace just all of that. Our goalkeeper Caden Stichler has been playing awesome, and we just I think we're controlling what we can control, even in moments like had a little bit of an emergence with some injuries and stuff. A field player plays in the goal last night and we still get the shutout. Like they've done an amazing job of embracing what's in their control and just rolling through it without freaking out.
Absolutely. And so you honored 5 of your seniors this past weekend against the Ozarks. And I got to tell you, I think you have a really solid bunch. And it's a good mix because you have 5 solid seniors mixed in with a lot of the younger players on your team. How have they individually, with what they bring, helped to form the identity of what your team is right now?
Yeah, I think they've just done an amazing job of leading the team. We have 5 seniors, but overall, I think we have 17 freshmen and 12 sophomores. So almost 80% of our team are freshmen and sophomores, and those 5 seniors have just done an incredible job of leading them. We've had almost no, sometimes things you expect with a young team, like we haven't had any, like we've just been able to roll through. They've done an amazing job of, in the moments they need to speak up and call a team meeting, and like they've just done an amazing job of leading this young group, which has only then helped us on the field. Absolutely.
And so just talking about the success you guys have had, particularly in your last 2 matchups, because coming in, I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to be like a defensive battle. Like, well, we might see 1 or 2 goals. We've seen 8 the last 2 games. What's attributing to you guys' offensive push all of a sudden?
Yeah, some of it was just, again, young team. Early, the talent has been there all season long. A few of the games I think we tied, we could have won. When we did the job defensively, and we were just looking for those goals to click and like kind of get into that. When you got young people, young forwards and things like that, for them to really like Paige Barclay, Maddie Rumacek, Grace Shirley, Ryan McClain. I think almost all of them have scored in the last few games. They've really just embraced like that hunting like mentality where they're getting into those, they were just off by a few yards. And a lot of times, like the goals just come by being off a yard or 2. So like they've got that hunting mentality, and we're just rolling through, and it's been really fun to watch.
And one of the players that you mentioned, Grace Shirley, that I've enjoyed watching because I just think she runs so hard and she brings a different level of energy whenever she's on the field. So can you kind of talk to me about what it is that she adds to your team, and whenever she's out there, what have you seen that she gives your team each night?
Yeah, she's a great finisher, different level of speed that most players don't have and stuff, and she's really embraced the role of like one of the things we talk a lot about is the England women's national team. When they won the Euro tournament this summer, they had 2 players that were coming off the bench who would just, when you'd watch their game, they would change the game every single game. Like they were down in some games 2-0 to Sweden and stuff, and like these players came off the bench and like tied the game up. Players like Grace, Ryan, like they've really embraced like you can't win without those players who will come off the bench 30 minutes into a half, right? 35 minutes into a half when the other team's tired, and now like she gets to do what she does really well of like running at them when they're tired and all. Like,
Yeah.
So they've really embraced that identity of like, I'm going to come off the bench and change this game, you know, as the ones who are starting are getting tired, you know, and that's a huge thing for a young team of like, sometimes we think that the value comes in starting, but like whether you come off the bench, whatever the role is, like from top to bottom, that's what the teams really embrace is like, what's your role and how do I do that really well?
Absolutely. And so just a couple more questions here for you. And so you were a goalkeeper at one point. So you know what it's like playing at the collegiate level, playing in big games, things of that nature. So how have you translated some of that knowledge from being a player to now as a head coach? How have you kind of made that adjustment?
I think one of the things I always learned, like from being a goalkeeper, like I always tell people, all the players, my coach used to call me ugly but effective. I was a 6'4" super athlete, like, but I came out of northern Minnesota. Like going into college, I was not the most technically, like there was like things within the technical realm of goalkeeping. I was like, wait, what's that called? Like,
right.
You know, like when I was going into college, but like I hated to be scored on. Like my coach used to call it, like said it would look like a fish was flopping on the dock. Like, but I didn't get scored on very much, so I play. Like, and that's what, again, same thing with our players, like just knowing like what makes you really good, right? Like, what are the things God gifted you with? Like Grace Shirley's speed, I can't teach, right? Like, and then people spend, like NFL players spend millions of dollars preparing for the combines to get 0.01 seconds faster sometimes, right? And that's huge for them because that could be the difference in millions and rounds in the draft. But like in soccer, like it's not statistically significant. Like, you know, what are the things that you have that we like, what makes you good, and do you know that, right? And then play out, like there's never going to be a perfect player.
Yeah.
Right. Like even Messi himself has never been perfect, like, but knowing what makes you. So I think that's what I've always, and like, it's not a one size fits all model. You know, if you watch how the Japanese do it versus the French do it versus the Spanish do it, then American, like everyone kind of has their own style. Like my job is then to just pull that all together into one picture. And that takes some time sometimes. Right?
Absolutely.
So and I think that's the picture is clicking now, and it's been really fun to watch. So.
Yes, sir. It has been very fun to watch, watching your team. Last thing I wanted to kind of touch on is I noticed that you as a coach, you got 4 or 5 chairs set out for your assistants and for yourself, but you don't spend a whole lot of time in the chair. You're walking around. You're talking to your team. You're all over the field. So is that kind of something that is something that you just kind of brought to coaching that helps you feel more involved? Like, what is that about?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it is I just think better when I'm walking.
Got you.
And I want, like, again, we have a lot of players in our like making sure everyone feels seen and valued, and you know, getting up and moving, you know, making some jokes. You know, really, one of the big things in our culture is control what you can control, right? And like in soccer, then I have to do that for myself. Of like, there's very little on game day that I can, like when the ball starts rolling, like I don't get timeouts. I don't get to, you know. There's no calling a timeout and drawing up the winning shot on the last second. Like the ball starts rolling, and I can make some substitutions and a halftime adjustment. Like, you know, so there's very little that we can control. So usually I'm just walking to think and kind of like move around. Like, but you know, we want the assistants to really be involved with the girls, like, so that they can kind of be talking the individual stuff throughout the, like, I'll take care of the whole picture. They'll take care of the individual picture. So, but yeah, a lot of times I'm just a mover. Like, it's the same reason why sometimes I wonder if Ryan Irwin thinks I'm actually working because I walk around the building so much, but because I think best while I'm walking.
Yes,
so
sir. Yeah.
A lot of it is just I like to think and move at the same time.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you once again for joining us. This has been head women's soccer coach Joey Petrich. His team will be opening up conference play very soon, so just stay tuned. And we're going to have one last coach. We switch gears back to football. We're going to have defensive line coach DeQuaylen Jenkins on the mic. So this is the ETBU Plus Network. Don't go anywhere.
Boy, Hunter, that beef looks good. Don't they know we've been smoking for over 75 years? And we serve barbecue every Saturday.
I reckon they ain't thought about that till now.
He ain't quite ready yet. Y'all come back here, you're next.
At High Horse, we've got a little something for everyone.
Great food served with a heaping helping of our hospitality.
High Horse 1898.
In the heart of downtown Marshall.
Alrighty, folks. As promised, we have our final coach, DeQuaylen Jenkins, the ETBU defensive line coach. Coach, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So you were a player at ETBU. Seems like forever ago, but this is just like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. You were out there on the field. Now you are coaching the defensive line. How has that transition treated you so far?
The transition's been well. Some of the guys when I first became a coach were guys that I played with the year before, so it was very easy. They knew who I was. They knew who I was about. Just had to get used to me being in a coach's role. Just love being around the guys. They love being around me. As a player, I was a fan, so I was always caught up in emotions in the game. A bad play would happen, and then I'll go in the tank. And a great play, I'm up. As a coach, you got to be focused on what you're doing. So I'm trying to be more even keel. Now I do get hyped with my guys, make great plays, but I try to be even keel as much as I can.
Yeah, and how hard is that? Is it something where you gotta intentionally kind of tell yourself like, wait, I'm a coach, I'm not the player anymore? So how hard is that adjustment for you?
The first year is a little bit hard, but now I've been in it for 3. This is actually my 4th season.
Okay,
it's a lot easier. I mean, I'm able to readjust because something happened on the play that I need to correct. Even if it's minor, I tell the guys all the time, I'm going to overcoach you, but it's just because I love you and I want you to be great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And speaking of which, that defensive line has been excellent this year. You guys have done just a really good job of, like Coach Rue always says, you guys' this philosophy of flying to the football. I mean, you've only given up maybe – say 13 or so points per game, technically speaking. But what is, as a defensive line coach, what are you seeing out there? What's your vision? What are you telling your guys?
As a defensive line coach, I tell my guys all the time, we have to earn the right to pass rush. And that's by stopping the run on 1st, 2nd down. And if someone wants to run the ball on 3rd down, we have to do that. So we have to earn our right to go get the plays that everybody sees on Saturday, the sacks. So we do that each and every week. That's what I harp on. That's how we start each and every one of our meetings of we got to earn the right to pass rush. Seeing out there those guys, I mean, they work together. The 2 edge guys is good to see, and it's great to see. We have a senior in Dominic Williams and a sophomore in Colton Wilson. They're doing very good things, and the guys behind them. Last year, Colton was a freshman, Dom was a junior, and I think like day 2, Dom was like, hey, he calls him CJ. He was like, hey, CJ, you work with me all year long. And now just seeing the fruits of the labor of him coaching his teammates and helping his teammate out, telling him from player's perspective what he sees. And now CJ's on the opposite side of him, and he's playing well, doing what he's supposed to do, and bringing the guys along. In the interior, the defensive tackles with Gavin, Chance, Josiah, and Elijah Sims. I mean, those 4 guys, and Elijah Mankins and Eric Estrada, those guys, they're like thick as this brick wall or something. They're always hanging out with each other.
Right.
And they're always pushing each other to be better. So it's great to see. The group is close-knit. I tell them all the time throughout the day, my best hour and 40 minutes, or if Coach Rue wants to go 2.5 hours of practice a day, that's the best time of my day other than going home and seeing my wife.
Absolutely. And so that makes your job as a coach so much easier when you have a senior like Dom that is willing to, take guys under his wing and really show them the ropes and really help them to be the best that they can be. Like, right? That really makes your job easy.
It makes it great. I mean, Dom got to see it from guys that was ahead of him. I mean, last year we had Jacamian Carr who did that with Dom when he was a junior. He brought Dom along. He was like, you're going to work out with me. Kobe Walker, Parker Snow, Keontre Hawkins, Ty Seebeck, all those guys that graduated last year, that still comes around and hangs out. They're always bugging me and blowing up my phone.
Right.
But they took him under their wing, and now he's doing the same. And just the culture of the defensive line that just continue to grow and continue to do great things.
Absolutely. And so last thing for you here as you guys head into Seguin to take on the TLU Bulldogs. Has it been easier for you to, as a coach, get ready for a game and then go on a road, or is it harder for you to kind of get your mind right for a home game where everybody that is going to be in the stands watching, things like that? Which one's been harder for you?
I like them both, honestly. My family travels to the game, so they get to watch it. So I feel pressure from them all the time. When I get home, what happened on this play? So I honestly, I say it all the time to D-line, when we go on the road, we have to bring a defense and a run game. I know Coach Rue mentioned it earlier. That's the big thing they tell in football, that you got to bring defense and a run game. And at home, we got to be able to put on for the fans and can draw off the energy of defense.
Yeah.
So the only difference to me is the road games is we got to bring our own juice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so thank you once again for joining us. This has been DeQuillian Jenkins, the defensive line coach for ETBU. They will be on the road taking on the TLU Bulldogs in Seguin. Kickoff is at 1 p.m., so it's going to be a hot one, but stay tuned
Tropical.
to the yes, sir. Yes, sir. But thank you guys for joining us. This has been Mark T. Robinson here on the ETBU Plus Sports Network. We'll be back next week for week 5, so stay tuned, folks. Thanks again for joining us.